Now, we would like to share with you a glimpse into the challenge of translating classical Chinese poetry. We will read to you Du Fu's poem, A Fine Lady, couplet by couplet, alternating the Chinese with literal translation done by David Hawkes. And then we'll read the Tianyuan, we'll read the complete Chinese original, and then finally a poetic translation by Brendan O'Kane. Now here's what Hawkes says about the occasion of this poem. This poem records Du Fu's meeting with a decayed gentlewoman. He comes upon her in a lonely valley near the tumble-down cottage in which she lives. Struck by her beauty and the once expensive, but for this time of year, not very useful thin finery in which she is dressed, he falls into conversation with her and discovers that she lost her family in the Troubles and has been cast off by a philandering husband, encouraged to make an open break with her by the removal of her influential brothers. She now lives with a single faithful servant, far from the society which has rejected her, existing precariously on the sale of her remaining jewelry, and perhaps also of the flowers which she would appear to have been picking when Du Fu first came upon her under the tall bamboos.
佳人，绝代有佳人，幽居在空谷。
Surpassing generation is fine lady, obscurely living in empty valley.
自云良家子，零落依草木。
Self says good family daughter, decayed in fortune, lives with grasses, trees.
关中西丧乱，兄弟遭杀戮。
Within the passes, yesteryear fell to rebels, brothers met with killing.
官高何足论，不得收骨肉。
Office high, how sufficient consider, not able collect bones flesh.
世情恶衰歇，万事随转逐。
World's feelings hate decayed finished, myriad affairs follow turning lamp.
夫婿轻薄儿，新人美如玉。
Husband fickle fellow,
知时鸳鸯不独宿。
vetch tree even knows time, mandarin ducks not alone sleep.
但见新人笑，哪闻旧人哭。
Only sees new woman's smile, how hear old woman's weeping?
在山泉水清，出山泉水浊。
In mountain spring water clear, emerge mountain spring water muddy.
势必卖珠回，牵罗补茅屋。
Serving maid selling pearls returns, drags creeper mend thatch roof.
摘花不插鬓，采柏动盈居。
Picks flowers not stick in hair, plucks cypress often fills grasp.
天寒翠袖薄，日暮已修竹。
Weather cold blue sleeves thin, day evening leans long bamboos.
Okay, now let's enjoy the poem in Chinese as a whole. 佳人，绝代有佳人，幽居在空谷。自云良家子，零落依草木。关中西丧乱，兄弟遭杀戮。官高何足论，不得收骨肉。世情恶衰歇，万事随转逐。夫婿轻薄儿，新人美如玉。 合婚尚之时，鸳鸯不独宿。但见新人笑，哪闻旧人哭。在山泉水清，出山泉水浊。势必卖珠回，牵罗补茅屋。摘花不插鬓，采柏动盈居。天寒翠袖薄，日暮已修竹。
Dufu, The Fine Lady, a poetic translation by Brendan O'Kane. Unmatched in beauty, there is a fine lady who lives secluded in an empty valley. She says she comes from a good family, now faded and fallen like a dying plant. In the skirmishes at the passes, her brothers met untimely deaths. What good did high rank do them then? She couldn't even beg their bodies back. The way of the world is to hate what has had its day. All things are as fickle as a candle flame in the wind. Her husband is not faithful to her. His new woman is as beautiful as a jewel. Even the vetch tree knows time. Even mandarin ducks do not desert their lovers, yet he only has eyes for his new woman's smiles. He has no ears for his old woman's weeping. In mountain springs, the water is clear. When it leaves the mountains, the water is muddied. When her maidservant returns from selling pearls, she drags vines to mend their cottage's thatched roof. The lady picks flowers, but not to adorn her hair. She picks cypress, enough to fill her grasp. It's cold, and her green shirt is thin. Dusk comes, and she leans against the bamboos.
Good news about the war. 闻官军收河南河北。剑外忽传收蓟北，初闻涕泪满衣裳。却看妻子愁何在，漫卷诗书喜欲狂。白日放歌须纵酒，青春作伴好还乡。即从巴峡穿巫峡，便下襄阳向洛阳。
Good news about the war. Here in Sichuan, we get word of the great recovery of the Central Plains. I blubber so much at the news, I soak the clothes I'm wearing. I turn to my wife and children. All our cares are gone. And like a maniac, I start packing, rolling up all my poems. Now we can sing and dance right here in broad daylight. Drink some wine, and then some more. Delirious, I want to start for home, the green spring, my companion. I'll go out through the great Yangtze River gorges, onto Xinjiang, and finally be back home in Luoyang.
Part 3. Peaceful Periods. The following poems come from a relatively tranquil period of time in the poet's life, when he settled and built the thatched cottage near Chengdu. He was aging and disappointed, enjoying the tentative happiness. However, he still suffered from the sense of exile and uncertainty. Now, let's enjoy a musical moment. Thank you, Jack. Rain on a spring night. This poem was exactly the same poem that Roger mentioned just now, that he had heard my husband and I both reciting at the local Joe's Cafe. Actually, my 6-year-old son can also recite this poem. So may I introduce my son to recite this poem for us. My son's name is 熊宇瑞, and the English name is Ray. So Ray, can you please recite this poem for us? 可不可以为我们大家背诵一下杜甫的《春夜喜雨》？
春夜喜雨，杜甫。好雨知时节，当春乃发生。随风潜入夜，润物细无声。野径云俱黑，江船火独明。晓看红湿处，花重锦官城。
Thank you, Ray. You are excellent.
Rain on the spring night. Congratulations, rain. You know when to fall, and you know quite well you belong to spring. Coming at night, quiet, walking in the wind, making sure things get good and wet. The clouds hang dark over country roads. There's one light from a boat coming down river. In the red morning, everything's wet. Flowers all through Chengdu, heavy and full of rain.
Flowers near the river. 江畔独步寻花，黄四娘家花满蹊，千朵万朵压枝低。自在娇，流连戏蝶时时舞，自在娇莺恰恰啼。
Flowers near the river. Mrs. Huang's garden, flowers engulfing the paths. Thousands weighing the branches. Butterflies move, pause, move, pause. It's a dance. And the orioles at ease, cheep and chirp. It's a song.
Watching fireflies, 见萤火。巫山秋夜萤火飞，莲书巧入做人衣。忽惊屋里琴书冷，复乱檐边星宿稀。却绕锦兰天个个，偶惊花蕊弄灰灰。沧江白发愁看汝，来岁如今归未归。
Watching fireflies is one of my favorites. As a child, I frequently saw fireflies at night in the summer, and they're pretty magical. And the first image in this poem is so amazing to me. Watching fireflies. Fireflies from the enchanted mountains come through the screen and settle on my shirt. Here in my study, my tin and books grow cold. Outside, above the eaves, they are hard to tell from the stars. They sail above the well, each one reflecting a mate. In the garden, they pass chrysanthemums, flares of color against the dark. White-haired and sad, I try to read their lives. Will I be here next year to watch them?